Okay. So there's something that I want to talk about, and I hope that the sound is good, because I left my little microphone at home. Anyway, I wanted to talk about spirituality and toxic positivity. So, this past summer, I have been unemployed most of the summer, and the reason I use the word most is because, like, I had some residual income or whatever from when I was working that helped me throughout the first month of the summer, but not the complete summer. And just in general, coming down from treatment and all the different things that I've gone through, I have been experiencing an insane amount of grief for different reasons. One of those bigger reasons is like the loss of identity, the loss of, what I called me. Like my home and my city and my own plans that I have for my own life, and, friendships, etc., people that I thought played a certain role in my life. The crumbling and the loss of everything is like, a big grieving factor. And in the middle of all of these, things that need my attention spiritually, I am obsessed with acting like it was not happening, acting like as if I only feel depressed because I didn't do my affirmations today, or I didn't pray hard enough, or I basically, like, just constantly beating myself up and not being patient with myself. Beating myself up and not being patient with myself. Freaking mount. I keep tightening this and it keeps like loosening up, but whatever. You get the point. You see me. You see it's me. But what I want to say is, when I say that I was feeling depressed this summer throughout the entire thing, regardless of whether I went walking 10K or whether I went walking for 10 minutes, whether I got, hours of sunshine, or whether I got a few minutes of sunshine, or whether I stayed inside for 2 and 3 days at a time, every day was difficult. Every day, I want to be like really, really transparent about it, because I think that sometimes, especially me, like before, I really thought that depression was more like a mood thing, like you're in a depressed mood, but you're not actually depressed. And I learned differently this summer that, something chemically definitely is going on, but it wasn't a mood. Like, it wasn't something that I could just act like wasn't happening, or something that I could, like, listen to a song or go for a walk or something like that, and boom, I'm out of that mood and I've shifted into another mood. That's how I realized this isn't a mood. Like, this is something really going on. And not only was I trying to pressure myself and push myself into a state of happiness or a state of well-being, because I really got to the point where, like, okay, I don't even need to feel happy. I just need to feel better. Because I wasn't feeling better. Every day felt like as if someone threw me into the dungeon of doom. Like, I felt absolutely hopeless. And at first I was like, this is just because you don't have your own money. Like, you're unemployed and you don't feel in control of things. That's what I thought. But no, like, it was waves of grief. It was the lack of control of not having my own income, and therefore my own freedom and doing what I want to do. It was also being in a different place. It's also not connecting with anyone in this different place. It's loneliness. It's the solitude. And I'm an introverted person, so if I complain about things like that, it's bad. And really, for me, if I'm being really honest with myself, I have to have intellectual stimulation, and I can't be the only person that stimulated me. And if I feel like I'm not stimulated enough, I actually get depressed. And I know that sounds nut, but hello, Venus and Gemini, nice to meet you. We have to be stimulated mentally, or we can't cope. Okay? And so I'm doing the most to try and stimulate myself, except I'm experiencing this depression where I'm just in a brain fog, where I'm not even thinking clearly, where I'm not even doing the most. I'm in this brain fog where I'm not thinking clearly, where I can't even tell you how I feel from one second to the next, because what is life right now? Like, that's the type of depression that I was feeling, that I would like get up and cook because I like to cook and it's kind of therapeutic for me, but I don't want to eat it. Or I want to eat something bad for me because it's going to make me feel comfort. Speaking of comfort, I am addicted to crunching stuff. I've been like pushing out of what I've been going through right now, and that's one thing that like has not gone anywhere. I still feel like I need to crunch on something all the freaking time. All I think about is crunch, 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 crunch. I just decided to stop crunching on bad things and try and like make it celery or make it carrot. And I've done my research. Crunching is a coping mechanism. Just like somebody else might desire something creamy, like ice cream or macaroni and cheese or pudding, or something creamy tasted, right? Or some people want salty, some people want tons of sweets in order to cope. So there's different, things that certain people do during coping that are like coping mechanisms. And for me, it's been eating crunchy food. And that just looks like me eating chips and popcorn. I try to keep it light and eat popcorn, but still, like, I put butter and salt on it, so duh. So recently I'm trying to like switch that up, but what I realize is that I can beat myself up and say, why didn't you do this today? Why didn't you take a shower today? Look at your hair, look at your skin, you look a hot ass mess. I can say all of these things, or I can say this is where she is today. This is where she is, and love her right where she is. And I have taken that mentality of love her right where she is. She's fine right where she is. This is just where you are today. It's not where you're going to be tomorrow. And you need to give yourself a little bit more leeway. The moment I started to acknowledge the depression is the moment that I start, like, my whole perspective started to shift. It is in the cover-up of it that was like really making me suffer. I was really suffering because I wasn't willing to say that I'm depressed, and it's hard to get up and take a shower. It's hard to eat food, and it's hard to go out my house. Not just because I'm unemployed, like, you can still go outside, obviously, but like, I felt like it was hard to go out the house just to touch the freaking doorknob. Like, I would tell myself I'm gonna go out and take a little walk around the block and come back, and I couldn't do that on certain days. I couldn't even get myself to like pick up the freaking toothbrush. It was almost like, if I want to put it this way, I'm going to use this analogy because in Julia Cameron's book, she talks about doing your morning pages and writing those 3 pages every day, no matter what, because it's better for your mental health, it's better for creativity, you don't have any blockages, etc., etc. And she says that no matter what, you have to treat it like, treat your creativity or whatever, like as if it's a toddler, a toddler. And that's how I had to start looking at the depression, as a toddler. A toddler, when you tell them it's time for a bath, they're like, no, I don't want to take a bath, and they start kicking and screaming and stuff, right? And they don't want to eat this, they don't want to do that. They want to do whatever they want to do, and you're the parent with, obviously the sense like, okay, I'm not going to let you eat a crayon. Like, why are you screaming and kicking about it? Are you crazy? You're not supposed to eat crayons. Are you crazy? You stink. You do need a bath. That type of thing. You have to, I realized that I could apply that same technique, the discipline of sitting down and writing. I could apply that same technique to myself when it came to depression. I could say, okay, I acknowledge that you feel this way today, but it's important for you to brush your teeth. You don't want to end up with a toothache and other teeth problem. From there, it's important for you to take a bath. You don't want to stink. You know, you want to look good 5-10 years from now. I'm gonna need you to exfoliate. Like, I have to have that patience with myself, as if I'm the toddler and the higher self, me, is the one that's in control, and trying to be as patient and as loving and as kind as I possibly can be with myself. And I've taken that approach for the past few weeks, because it really like shed light on my soul that it's okay to, you know, process all the things and not feel well about it. Number one, because, you know, like, spirituality is so toxic in the sense that everybody's trying to act like you're supposed to be love and light all the time, like everything is good all the time. And I have been feeling like absolute shit, for lack of other words. And oh, fucking my nerves. Let me just park here. But I have been feeling like crap, thinking that it's going to go away if I say these affirmations. It's going to go away if I take this spiritual bath. It's going to go away if I do this and say this and da 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 da. And the truth is, it's a freaking chemical imbalance. It's not going to go away. And then there's always a spiritual reason behind everything. And if I don't acknowledge that, if I don't acknowledge myself and what it's going through, why would my toddler want to hear me? Do you get what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the toddler doesn't feel like they need to take the bath. They feel like their parent loves them, so they get in the freaking tub. You get what I'm saying? Like, when I started to tell myself I love you and it's okay that you feel terrible today, I'm really understand that you're feeling this immense sadness and you don't want to get out of the bed. I understand that you don't want to go walk. I understand that you don't want to shower. I understand that you don't want to stretch. I understand that you don't want to eat. When I start to tell myself that stuff, I'm up. Today, I'm up. I'm out of the bed. Actually, the first step, even before that, was me getting up to do the morning pages. I told myself, okay, you're not going anywhere today. You feel like crap today. You don't feel like doing this. You don't feel like doing that. It's okay. Just go sit at the table and grab a pen and grab a notebook and let's do this. Let's sit at the table and let's write. And that's all I want from you today. And do you know, like, my perspective has shifted so much from doing that, just from sitting down and writing out how I'm feeling and acknowledging myself in everything that is on top of my shoulders, on top of unemployment. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's all these pre-existing things, and I had to, like, acknowledge that some of these things are pre-existing and some things are things that are just, like, out of my control right now. Like, you don't always have to have control, and that's also not, you know, that's also not an easy thing for me to not be in control, even in the smallest ways of my life. It just feels like when you don't have stability, everything feels like it's shaky, no matter what it is. You know what I mean? Or at least for me, that's how I feel. And then I have to, like, address my inner child things. And so, and you know, what safety and security looks like to me might look different for you. And so it's realizing that, like, all of those perspectives, all of those ways that I view things, that it's changing, and it's okay that it's changing, and I don't need to have control over every little outcome in my life. All I need to do is worry about myself for today and be patient with myself today and get myself to do, you know, basic self-care. And it has gotten so much easier, and Like today was morning page number 20. Because I write it on top of the page every time. So I don't miss any. So it's been 20 days and it's just shifted my perspective in such a way that it like it's been life changing, honestly. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share. Like, sit with yourself. Do not try to toxically be positive to the point that you are denying your own needs and denying yourself. It does not fix things. And it's so funny. The other thing I wanted to add is, as I thought about this before I turned on the camera, is you ever notice, like, sometimes certain things we think that it's part of like the religious community and church and stuff like that. And I remember, when I was younger in church, that certain people would be like, I have this problem and that problem, and everybody just be like, praise the Lord, just praise the Lord, no matter what your situation is, praise the Lord. And there's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong. It's not a wrong thing to do. Worship is actually a good thing to keep your mind off of dwelling on the negativity. But anyway, it's like, I always noticed that people didn't want to address what a person's pain was or what a person's issue was, and therefore that issue persists because it hasn't been acknowledged. Like, it's still screaming, hey, pay attention to me, like a toddler. But anyway, let me wrap it up. That's what I wanted to say for today. See y'all next time.